Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of non-public minutes of May 14th made public.
Make a motion to accept those minutes as printed.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Manifest payroll 32,390.17. Payroll liabilities 10,133.26. Accounts payable $53,762.35 and $250,000 to the elementary school for a total of $346,285.78.
Make a motion to accept the manifest.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment?
Ellen King?
Yep.
I understand you guys have a few openings on the budget committee,
Possibly. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but yeah.
and I'd be interested in helping out.
Okay. We'll get you the paperwork.
Okay.
You know,
I didn't know what was involved.
there's forms upstairs that you fill out, give to Linda, and then we'll look at it at our next meeting and more than likely sign off on it. Not a whole lot of volunteers out there.
Excellent.
It's the budget committee chairman that appoints, but,
Oh yeah, that's right, they have their own,
yeah, we can still follow the same
yeah,
process.
same process, just won't be us that'll appoint you, it'll be the budget committee themselves.
Okay, so I'll involve going to one of their meetings as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot they did their own. Alright, seeing no more public comment. Library generator discussion.
So, the Friends of Madison Library received a large donation and they would love to put it towards a generator for the library. And I passed it by the trustees, they said yes, so now I'm passing it by you guys to see, cause it's a town building.
Are they gonna pick up the tab for the whole thing?
The whole thing,
Installation and everything?
everything.
I don't see why not.
And they said they would pay for the yearly service or whatever
That
happens.
was my next question.
Yeah.
What?
That was my next question.
That was the gist that I got, so.
I haven't looked into anything because I figured there was no point until I got your approval.
Well, we might as well put them in contact with the people that do ours.
Yeah, they were looking for that info on, Sloan was looking for that info on here.
Yeah, actually, I think I forwarded that on to our generator connection.
They're picking up the tab and they're gonna cover the maintenance, can't hurt, right?
Nope.
I think, I don't know how much the propane tank, that propane tank holds, for the library. I would assume that next year my propane line might go up because, I mean, it runs, doesn't it turn on once a week just to make sure that it's, so I don't know how
Yeah.
much that uses, but.
Yeah.
Ours does that.
I don't think it would be too awful bad.
Okay.
I don't have one, do you know? We wouldn't even know how much ours uses to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've got a separate tank for the
Yeah.
generator, the two
Oh,
generators
you
here.
did?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
so
Well,
that's something I'll
well,
inquire
we-
about.
Nothing else here runs on propane, so we had to put something
Oh,
in,
okay,
that's why.
okay.
So
Okay.
they filled it pretty much when they did it, now maybe we've got one fill since then, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
Do we need a motion on that, Linda?
Well, it's up to you. It'll be documented that you guys are both okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal to put a generator at the Madison Library.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sweet.
Cat generator discussion, thank you, Sloan. We need a grader.
I'm sorry.
We need a grader.
Yeah, I was just reading this. I got this from I assume you guys have the same piece of paper from Michelle Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to make a, well, I I don't need to tell the whole story, but, you know, it's 36, 7 years old, I can't know exactly what. We tried to replace it 18 years ago. I think we ended up putting 30,000 into it at that time, because the transmission was gone. Last winter, it caught on fire. We had to put in a new wiring harness. They had to be completely rebuilt because they don't make them anymore. That cost us $50,000. And we didn't have it almost all summer for, I don't know how many months it was we were without it. Last week, a couple weeks ago, it was leaking a lot of antifreeze. We didn't know what was wrong with it. We had to have the CAT technician come up, look at it. He determined that it was the water pump had a hole in it. At first, he said he didn't even know if we could get one because of the age of the grader. Find one. He did find one. They're fairly inexpensive, I guess. It was around $1,000.
Yeah, it's a remanufactured.
A remanufactured water pump was around $1,000, but understand that every time Caterpillar comes here, because it's not under warranty, it's $1,500 just to show up. They charge $1,500 just to show up. So, and they're gonna come once, they're gonna diagnose the problem, then they're gonna figure out what part we need, and then they're gonna come back again. So it's gonna be a minimum of $3,000 just to, for that. So we're gonna be into this. I can't possibly guesstimate what the cost of this, but it's gonna be in the thousands. And we don't even know when it's gonna be fixed at this point. So we were looking around, as last year, we looked for a lease turn-in grader. We looked at several. We had one, but the thing is, if we don't act on them when they come up, we just can't get it. They're spoken for right off. We did speak to CAT, our representative from CAT, Jeff Slade, today, just a little bit. He does have a brand new one that's coming off the factory line in August, at $410,000. At that time, he was gonna give us $32,500 when they looked at it for our old grader. Of course, it's worth nothing if there's a crack in the block. That's what I was worried about last week, that there was a crack in the block and that's just gonna be a pile of metal sitting there. Worth nothing. I don't think anybody's in disagreement that we need a new grader. When we rent a grader from Burke's, it's about $3,600 a week. And then you don't know if the week you rent it, you don't know if you're gonna be able to use it that week or not. You know, the roads aren't in the right condition, it's really pointless to grade, so. And I know to do this, we'd have to have a special town meeting. Do we have it? Our ETF does not cover the purchase, wouldn't cover the we only have $24,000 in our expendable trust fund. Unassigned fund balance, we don't know until the audit is complete. And then we have to ask the permission of the court. At first, but it has to be an emergency. I mean,
It's an emergency to me. It's an emergency if you live on a dirt road.
yeah, well, you know, emergency is kind of a vague word, I guess, in those terms. I mean, I think you could argue that. I mean, I hate to spend, we talked to Just Late too, because I talked to Adam a little bit earlier. He did call us back, and he said that you could maybe do that, but then you're really gonna be renting, so the question was whether we could rent the new machine until March of 2025, until it got passed by the regular town meeting. And he said he could do that, but he wouldn't be able to hold it, even if he had a rental machine, because he could sell that to another municipality, just like that. It's not any trouble selling it. And then if you did buy it, you wouldn't be buying it the $410, because then you'd be buying a used machine, and you wouldn't be getting your government discount on a new machine. So, you'd be paying probably $480 or $490, is what he said, after we've rented it.
So, worst case, if we decide to go with this, we would have to give him a tentative agreement
Yeah,
that says they're gonna hold it for 45 days.
And then we need to explore what
And-
we can do with DRA and the court as far as a meeting.
Yep.
Cause at this point, it's either that or we rent for the rest of the year and expend money we don't have.
So Linda, in here, do we have what the first year's payment would be?
It's right around 50, wasn't it?
He said that depending on the interest rate, when it gets locked in, it'd be between 48.5 and 49.5 in that range, on a 10-year lease. And just so you know, too, Adam and John, when we just talked to him just a few minutes ago, I asked him if we could give him, if you wanted his cell phone number, you could call him tomorrow, because it's hard, you know, you guys got questions for me, and I relay them to him, then the time he gets back, then I relay the answers back to you.
Right.
If you would, you know, just call him and any questions, you know, as far as the machine goes and financing and all that stuff, it's certainly would go a lot quicker if
Yep.
you had his number.
Well, it's not gonna cost us anything to get the paperwork moving.
What's that?
He said it's not gonna cost us anything to get the paperwork moved.
No,
No, and my understanding is we can put our name on this one, they'll lock it for 45 days while we explore this option of a special town meeting.
correct. And if it doesn't work out, he said you can rip it to shreds, and we're, got nothing.
I think that's our best bet. I certainly don't wanna continue to spend money on a rental for the rest of the year if we're gonna have to buy one anyway. And I don't know that even if we were to rent one from him and that was an option, we'd be essentially giving away our trade-in money. And I don't like that idea either.
No.
Right, yeah, we're only gonna lose ground on the trade-in.
And with that grader out there, who knows what's the next thing that's gonna break? We're throwing good money after bad at this point. It's not-
Part of that, you look on the part of the paperwork you're gonna sign there is, the agreement is that they're gonna have to come up and re-evaluate our machine to make sure it's still worth 32.5, so kind of baby it, I guess, until we get this figured out.
Tell them to get here quick, right after they
Yeah.
put the water pump in it.
Yeah. And I don't even know when that's gonna happen, so.
That's how I'd like to approach it. I'd like to talk to DRA and Cordell about trying to, whatever verbiage we can use to make it an emergency. I mean, when it comes to winter, the rental doesn't have a wing on it, does it?
No,
So we're shit out of luck as far as plowing with a grader if we have a rental anyway,
correct.
which becomes an emergency because we need that for plowing.
And
Sir.
that price, I believe, is equipped with a plow and a manual.
Right, yeah.
I think you get, I gave you the spec sheet on the
Yeah.
machine, and that's another big thing, that's huge between buying a lease turn-in, you know, investigating and buying. So lease turn-in, like the guy said, Jeff said that, you know, to get a decent lease turn-in, you're gonna be around 220 to 250, with some low hours, like the one we were looking at last year had 5,000 or 4,500 hours on it. With no warranty, you know, that's a 7-year, 3,500 hour warranty on that, and I mean, that's priceless. I mean, when you can get a brand new machine with a warranty for only $140,000 or $100,000 more, whatever it is, it seems like a lock-in deal that we should lock into. And if we did wait, and it's just another thing, I don't wanna keep beating a dead horse, but if we waited to town meeting, we weren't happening, we wait till town meeting, it's gonna be 18 months probably before we'd be able to get one.
Right, cause there's probably not many of them coming off the line.
No. This was, and Justin, you want to tell them what, you know, he said about why this one is available.
This one has been on order for so long, that's why it's at the price that it's at, because this one is actually for CAT. They had ordered this so they could have one at, you know, for like a rental or whatever. But these other towns and other customers have been buying graders that they have been putting in ahead of this one on the assembly line to get them out to them, and they're still waiting 16 to 18 months for it. So, in the time, the inflation wasn't as high when that grader was actually ordered, and that's why it's coming in at that price, and if we went and we waited, it would end up being closer to 500,000 if we went and ordered a machine.
But if we put our name on this, it's not gonna get kicked back on the assembly line again.
No.
No, Nope, it's coming
This is scheduled for come off the assembly line in August
to be shipped.
to be shipped to CAT.
I think we should move on it.
Yeah, I'd like to get our name on it, at least hold it and explore this,
How we'll
Town
handle the
meeting.
financing.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't want it to get, because they'll sell it tomorrow if we don't with our luck.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, it's gonna be out there, you know, he's not just gonna stop at us, I mean,
No.
Yeah.
he's gonna keep, you know, he's a salesman, he's gonna put those out there, and whichever one he gets back first is,
Well, I'll make a motion that we enter into this 45-day agreement with Milton Cat to put our name on the grader.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Don't break anything else, please.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Good
Mike.
luck.
Put these in the signature stuff.
Yep. Men's softball league field fees. So, Al Frechette approached me about the fees that they pay for using the field. And he didn't outright ask me to ask this board to waive them, but it's the gist I got, and I'm not necessarily opposed to it. They have offered volunteer help to fix the field whenever necessary, and they do whatever they can to keep the field in good condition. The only trouble we do have with them is trash from time to time, but it seems like they're the only people we charge for using the field that I can find. And I could be wrong, but.
Nope, they are.
When I mentioned doing the infield, they were the first ones to speak up and offer free labor. So I don't mind waiving the fees, but we are charging them about 400.
Yes.
So there's 4 teams that sign up, is that what you're saying?
I think so.
Well, we always said that it was the Madison team, so I guess there's 4 teams that are assigned to our town. It was 3 for a few years, and then last year they did it to 4.
I mean, if they're willing to give us free labor, I would take that into account. But on the back end, if they don't perform, what do we do?
Reinstate the fees next year
Yeah,
if there's trouble.
yeah.
I mean, are we gonna have 3 porta potties out here at some point, or we only keep the 2?
August we'll have 3.
August we'll have 3, so it'll be 3 out. I was gonna say, I think Linda and I had discussed having them pay for the extra porta potty, but we're gonna have 3 anyway.
Because we have one, we add a
Third one.
ADA unit for Old Home Week.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, the only trouble we have is trash and cigarette butts. But if I can get Alan to get those guys under control with that stuff, I don't have a problem waiving the fee.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that.
All right, well, I will make a motion that we waive the field use fee for
One
the
season?
men's softball league for 1 season and readdress it again before we assess it next season.
Yeah.
I have a second.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Meeting schedule.
basically, this is just to let you know the ABC meetings that were added that they had their meeting last week. And specifically to ask you to decide when you'd like your budget hearing, just so I can get it on the books and get it over with. On the 2025 schedule, the February 11th is a Tuesday in between your regular selectmen's meetings. The 4th of February is the last day that we can accept petition warrant articles, and then that'll give me a little bit of time to pull the warrant back together based on anything we get that last minute and
So
have the
you'll have
hearing
the
on the
budget hearing on the 11th of February?
11th, yeah.
Okay,
Fine with me.
yeah. I'm good with that.
Budget committee seems to have a lot more meetings this year.
they added, they added one for June, one for July, one for August, and then they're having 2, September, October, November, December, and January.
Busy man. I'm good with the calendar.
Okay, thank you.
I guess there was some talk at the last meeting regarding the CIP, and I wasn't there, but I kinda got it through the grapevine. Unless things have changed, that is the responsibility of the planning board.
It really is.
It falls in their purview. And the only reason ours have been redone is because the selectmen took it over to have something to work with. So, I mean, they were talking about tying the school to it. Well, we don't even have the right people at this end doing it. So,
Maybe we should ask the planning board to put it on their agenda.
good luck.
I don't believe their agenda's very full.
If I remember right, when Josh and I were on the board of selectmen, the planning board, I thought, gave it up. And the selectmen took it over at that point, and then the budget committee took it from there. Is that, do you remember it being that?
Yeah, I don't, it didn't get done for a long period of time. There was, I think Noreen Downs was the last one, if I can recollect.
Yeah.
Was on the planning board. She did the CIP for the planning board, and it kind of fell through the cracks. And after that, and I think, John, you kind of took it on.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I think you kind of took it upon yourself. And
Yeah, because no one else was doing it, you know.
because no one else was doing anything, and I understand where they're coming from on that, and if you know, you can call it whatever you want, CIP or whatever, and I know we, at the last budget committee meeting, we talked about, you know, putting all our equipment on one piece of paper, you know, what we have, and, you know, range, and maybe working with Dave to do, on the iWork, we've already kind of done that, and I don't wanna volunteer Dave up for things, but, you know, instead of having him come here and, or come to a budget committee meeting and a selectmen's meeting, it'd be nice maybe if we could do the iWork, and you could give one presentation, maybe with joint budget, and we could work up a sheet and see how it works, and,
Yeah,
I mean, if that would make
Right.
it easier for you guys, and,
I mean, we have a lot of that information on the vehicles on separate sheets.
yeah,
Each vehicle has its own story.
put it all in one spreadsheet, and, you know, everything that we own, and
Yeah,
then you can look across when it's due. I think we're gonna find, you know, that there's gonna be a few things that are well past size and greater, being replaced.
and there's a lot to go on the CIP which isn't there.
Yeah.
I mean, just off the top of my head, I talked to Chip about crack sealing the transfer station. Beyond hope,
Yeah.
says it's gone too far, said you need to overlay it,
Yeah.
or
And
chip
that's where we're
seal.
at with a lot of the roads. You know, we met with, you know, Goob and I, we met with several different contractors when we were putting out the bid for, you know, Mooney Hill, and, you know, you look, hey, what about this road? What do you think we should do to this road, or, you know, whatever, and it's beyond, you know, crack sealing or
Yeah,
or even overlaying, you know, like Mooney Hill's beyond an overlay, that needs to be ground and graded and laid out again. And, you know, like East Madison Road, that's beyond crack
there's some,
sealing or
yeah,
chip
yeah, there's some
sealing.
bad spots in that road.
So,
And Town Line Road is cracking up
yeah,
and cars and by.
oh, that, Town Line Road needs to be, that's beyond an overlay, that needs to be ground.
Last time we rebuilt it, your dad was running it at the time.
But that, you know, life expectancy, what they're saying of a tarred road is 12 years, 10, 12 years. Unless you do some crack sealing or shimming and,
So a lot has to go on that CIP and,
yeah.
and
And we actually have that on a separate sheet, all the roads in town are on a separate, you know, we got it right in the office.
work priority sheet.
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell you next year on the list is Forest Pines, and that needs to be just an overlay, shim and overlay.
You do a chip seal or, no?
And we really we should be overlaying Pound Road in East Madison, what we paved last year.
Yeah,
We might be able to do it this year.
okay.
Dave, you think you can put that together for a joint meeting?
Yeah, Joe Dane contacted me last Friday. He wants to get together to see what I have, 'cause he's interested in helping get a spreadsheet going on it. That's working CIP.
Oh, once you have something together, then we'll schedule a joint meeting. Alright, Buckley appointment to Carroll County Broadband Committee. I understand that this is at the request of Bill Lord and there is no requirement for the person to be a resident of the town of Madison.
Correct.
Buckley's reasoning is that he intends to move back, so he wants to stay involved.
And the way that Bill put it was this is kind of what he did before he retired, this kind of work, so he's familiar with it, and Bill would like to have him as an alternate on there. And like you said, there's nothing that says that he has to be a resident or anything.
Well, I don't wanna do it.
No, I'm fine with Jay Buckley doing it.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Do you wanna do a motion on that one just to cover us?
I will make a motion that Jay Buckley be appointed to the Carroll County Broadband Committee as an alternate, you said?
Yes, please.
Yep. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Request of the trustee of the trust funds for $50,000 from the transfer station improvement ETF.
This is in anticipation of paying for the trash truck that's coming. So we'll have the funds, so we'll be able to pay it, is my theory. Coming in and out.
This was, yeah. All right. I make a motion to request a withdrawal by the trustee of the trust funds from the transfer station capital projects expendable trust fund in the amount of $50,000. This will reimburse the general fund for payment made to Advantage Truck Group per 2024 town meeting Article 8 to see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen to enter into a 5-year lease agreement in the amount of $225,000 for the purpose of leasing a new solid waste truck and to raise and appropriate the sum of $90,000 for the first year's payment for that purpose, $40,000 to come from the trade-in of the solid waste truck and $50,000 from the transfer station capital projects expendable trust fund. This lease agreement could
Make a motion to make that withdrawal?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll put this in the signature items.
New roll-off truck lease paperwork.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of that.
I'd like to tell you I read every word, but
It's 99% the same as all the ones we've done in the past years, we're just changing the truck and the pricing.
just make sure.
So it's, the warrant article does say 225,000, but it's 223,000 and change is what it actually ended up being for the lease. And it was over 5 years, first payment is next year. Cause we did the trade-in and the 50,000 ETF payment this year.
I assume you have a copy over there for us to sign?
Yes. All marked up. Actually, it's just pretty much you. And if you're good with it, just make a motion that you reviewed and signed.
I will make a motion that we sign the lease agreement for the solid waste truck.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna do that now. You're gonna sign it in with the
It's up to you,
signature.
I just put it in with it at the bottom because it's mostly you, so.
Old business, paving bid recipient,
I figured you'd wanna announce that because we never really said anything publicly about that.
Pike Industries, right?
Yeah.
Yep. See, I could've got it wrong too. So, Pike Industries will be paving Mooney, yeah.
Correct.
Alright, tree removal on town forest invoice. So, the debacle of who spends the $2,772.50 for the tree removal on the town forest. I have asked Linda to bring the Conservation Commission to our next meeting so that we can discuss going forward, because there's the debate as to who should pay for it.
I agree.
And I'd rather discuss it with them present and see how they, I mean, I think I know how everybody feels about it. Nobody wants to spend the money, but somebody's gotta,
Is this bill already been paid?
yeah.
Mm.
It's been paid, but my understanding is it should come out of that $10,000 that they took out, but if you're good with it, I'd like to discuss it at our next
Sure.
meeting with them here.
Absolutely.
We'll do that then.
Make that happen.
Can I make a comment about that? I just, can I?
Of course.
I don't want to start trouble. But if that was privately owned, say it's town property, it's town forest, but if it was privately owned, and all those trees came down, and it was getting ready to, destroy our road, or it's gonna take out our culvert, wouldn't the town would go after the private owner to remove those trees, and they would have to pay for it? Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So, where the Conservation Commission is in charge of the town forest, wouldn't they be, by default,
They should be by default liable for those trees.
I understand they're both owned by the town, but,
It's still $2,700 out of our operating
Right.
budget that's already slim.
that's all, I just wanna make that comment.
No, I feel the same way, and my understanding is they no longer can use that $10,000 for legal fees. And they're only obligated to $4,000 worth of maintenance, so they have $6,000 of overage, essentially, that they could expend $2,700 up to pay for that. So even if they were to get into a little bit more maintenance, I can't imagine they're gonna spend another $6 if they only allocated $4 to begin with. So, no, hopefully they're on the same page.
Unknown caller.
Sorry.
Joint Selectmen School Board meeting on June 11th at 6 p.m.
Yep, that's your next meeting, it's confirmed, just saying it out loud.
Perfect, and they're coming here.
Yes,
Do we have enough seats?
yeah.
All right. John, you got anything on your list tonight?
No, I just got stuff I need to talk to Dave and Josh about, but we don't need to do it at a meeting.
I don't believe I have. The guys have cleaned up the area to order that fill. I gotta give Burke a couple days heads up, so hopefully within the next couple weeks we'll have sand and silt up there, and we'll figure out screening it together.
Yep.
I don't have anything else that I can recall. Linda?
No, I can't think of anything.
Josh, Dave, go.
We crushed it was 2000, came up, we crushed that big pile of debris out there, and Holmes came and crushed it, and we ended up with 2,784 yards of gravel. We graded Downs Road, Bickford Road, Glines Hill, backside of Lead Mine, Winter Road, Charlotte Point, and applied dust control to all those roads, while we had Burke's grader. We picked rocks, there was a lot of rocks out of those roads. We picked out, we mowed all the grass around town, Gilman and Lyman Cemetery, both baseball fields twice. Foot of the Lake, Head of the Lake, Kennett Park, Historical Society, Elementary School, and around Town Hall. Cleaned the town beaches twice. Put the picnic tables out at the foot of the lake. We got received and installed the new aluminum dock at the foot of the lake. Put the swim lines in at the head of the lake, Nichols Beach, and the foot. Took an old piano out of the Historical Society. That was quite a project. With the help of Chris Martin and Paul Dean. Picked up brush on Moore's Pond and Winter Road, cleaned up the gravel piles around town garage, so we get that road, and, we had some heavy rain last night, so everybody went out this morning and checked the roads, they were in really good shape considering. And we cut and removed that tree out of Atkinson Park that's been hanging there for a while, so got that. And, the last selectmen's meeting, I know, Selectman Gray, had, posed some concerns about the Hawks Ridge stuff that I guess, I'll be honest with you, I assumed it was safe, and that's why I got it, and everybody was saying it's the greatest thing, but, you know, some of the comments she made were a little concerned, so I did some research and looked up about it, and, where they make the stuff in Maine, they don't sell it in Maine, it's not allowed to be sold in Maine, and I wanted to see if that was actually true, and it is true, they passed a law a couple of years ago, last August, that they weren't allowed to sell it in Maine. And where they make it is actually a super fun site or whatever, it's an old army base, where they make that stuff. But the reason that it's got the PFAS at the army base is or the military base, is because they used to use the spray foam. So it's not actually the stuff that they're making there that's got the PFAS in it, it's what was there before, the military base with the spray foam that they used to put out fires with. Then I called, I asked Linda to call the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Protection, and Linda, can I ask that you explain this, but in the 500 feet, I will say, so that it said on the label, which we got, that is not supposed to be within 500 feet of a well, but that's a drinking well, and none of those, it's not supposed to be within 33 feet of a drinking well, of any well. And that's the New Hampshire law, and it's well beyond that portion, and like I said, Linda called DES, and you can explain what.
In my notes. What we used is called exceptional quality, is what they explained. And when I talked with this gentleman, and I can't remember I can't remember his last name.
Anthony
Druin at DES. He was really kind of excited to be able to tell me all the stuff that he knew about this, because that's what he does all day, and someone was interested. So we had a great conversation, and he was saying that there's PFAS in everything, even if you buy a bag of stuff from
The news today is in milk.
milk at Lowe's or something like that. You know, there's got to be something in that, and this, in terms of PFAS and any bad contaminants in this Hawks Ridge product, you're going to find worse things in your own compost. That's just, yeah. So
the worst offender of PFAS contaminations are elementary schools, or
Yeah.
schools.
They actually sent a letter out a few years ago to all the schools in New Hampshire to make sure that they were not pouring any of the extra water that they used after stripping wax and that kind of thing into the septic systems, because that's what's leaching out and causing PFAS problems at schools, because that kind of contaminant is going into their septic system and it's leaching out. So they sent a letter, I don't know if it was asking or telling all the schools to make sure that you take any of that water to a approved water facility that would process it. So assuming like someplace like Conway or something like that, you have to take that water to. But from what, the way I talked to him, what we did there is not a problem.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I mean, we're well within the requirements of being close to a well. You're not anywhere near 33 feet from
No.
either one of those, and
Either one.
neither one of those are drinking wells.
Right.
And I don't think the intention is to ever have them be a drinking well again, so.
I don't
Not
think
that I
it
would
would
hate
pass for
that,
other
but-
reasons.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a drinking well up there, but
Yeah.
there are other problems with water quality up there that we have to deal with, so.
And I guess, I didn't talk to the gentleman, but the reason, and I did read an article about it, but how the state of Maine banned it, and now they're in bad shape, because they have nothing to do with their sludge or whatever, from the water treatment plants. They have nowhere to put it, and they were putting it in landfills in Maine, but they also, at the same time, they banned some sort of chips or something that they would mix with the sludge that would keep it stable. So they banned both those things, so they didn't have any place to put their sludge, so they started shipping it to Quebec, and Canada, and Newfoundland, New Brunswick, and where they ship in the past, and they said,
They don't-
no, knock it off. That made the price of getting rid of the sludge 3 to 4 times more than it was when they could, get rid of it in the state of Maine. And Canada said, no more, so now they don't have any place to take their stuff. And that when they're putting it in a landfill, they were getting overloaded, and all the landfills are saying, stop, no more.
Awesome.
They gotta address that issue. That's not for the state of Maine.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question, not sure what direction to go in. I met with Sloan over at the library last Thursday. There was an issue with a couple basement windows. They're on the front of the building and they're below grade, so they have the aluminum guards. And I think what's been happening is they're filling up with snow all winter long, and they've rotted the window sills out. So I gave it a lot of thought, and it may require taking them out from the inside, which on one of the windows anyway is going to be trim work that will have to come out and whatnot, and repair that, seal them back, put them back in. The direction I don't know where to go in is looking at our to-do list. I don't know that's something that I would be able to tackle for her this winter, summer. And it needs to have attention. We're gonna start getting water inside the library. Do we look at local contractors and
How many windows we
we
doing?
put that out to bid for repair?
2 windows?
Yeah, and I think we need to have, there's a couple different guards that can go over those for the winter to keep the snow out of those. Either those clear bubbles, or they make you could even make something just to keep the snow from filling that up and sitting up against the window.
I did mine last year at my house. Did 4 of them.
Yeah,
Same deal, rotted.
right, and, I just don't, it's not that I can't do it, I can do the job, but it's a commitment, because you always get into something like that, and then you're finding that it's
More than you thought.
more than you thought. And I'm wondering if that's just something, does that go out to bid, and you get a few contractors to look at and choose one, or?
I don't know if that's gonna meet a what's our bid requirement, 10 grand?
10,000,
It
yeah.
ain't gonna be $10,000.
No.
No. So, I mean, I wouldn't even worry about. I think if you could find a contractor who's got nothing to do, which may be a hell of a task.
Well, I mean, it should be somebody insured.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
See if we can find a local contractor willing to take the job. It shouldn't be too long of a job for
Right, I
contractor
think,
with
but once
3
you get
guys.
into it,
You
you
never
gotta stay
know.
with it.
Yeah.
And, it could be easier, it could turn into a nightmare.
I had
So,
mine
okay.
pre-assembled outside, and then he just plugged them in. He built them
Right,
freestanding and just
yeah.
put them
Maybe I
in.
should ask Chris Martin for.
Well, that was for the first
Yep.
2 I thought
Yeah.
of.
Yep.
So I'll work with you, so.
Okay.
you know,
That'd be great.
As far as the transfer station, it's gotten busier. I think the last 2 weeks I had 10 routes.
10?
10 in 2 weeks.
We're nearing delivery on the new truck.
He told us 2 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks ago. So I need to make a call down to Donovan Spring on another matter. And I'll check in with him and see. And I think Linda's got a handle on all the financing, as I see, and, so moving right along. Once we get the new truck in, we're gonna have to haul the glass out, and I found that Rochester would be the place to take it. I couldn't take it to Mount Carberry, but the tipping fee is $72 a ton, and Rochester is $40 a ton, same distance. So, once we get the new truck, I won't do it with this truck.
Yeah.
We'll start making runs when I have a chance to load up and take a load down. And we'll also look into the aluminum cans and light iron. There was your idea of their name? On the light, on the aluminum.
Harding?
Harding.
Yep.
Their prices are better. And, their light iron is better too. So, but we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Whatever's the
Yeah.
best option. They're what, an hour and 20 minutes?
Yeah, not even that. I actually went right by the place last week, and its drive time is the same as it is going up to Mount Carver or Portland, so I didn't happen to take the mileage, but it's such a straight shot on 16 that, you know.
16 to 202, is it?
Yes, 202. Yeah. So that was a good lead.
Yeah,
Good.
That guy that we met with that came from this what is it, John,
NRRA.
NRRA, Concord. He came out of Lancaster. He gave me a whole report that I'll share with you with all kinds of different options on where you can take that at the best prices. So
Yep.
Harding was the best.
Good.
So we need to start moving, we need heavy equipment now and start making room for that can container. All the trees are down, took all the trees down last week. So, we're big on taking trees down, now we need to rebuild them. So,
We
Yeah.
will have to get some boulders in there to continue around the bottom of that closed landfill. There can't be any opening that somebody can drive out onto that. So, you know, so along the recyclable container, those large boulders, we'll have to get some more to line right down around
yeah,
where the old fence used to be. But then you have the wood line that is the protection.
You
yeah.
gonna be able to find any boulders around here?
Old road.
I've got a couple you can take.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, they don't have to be that big, but you need to. if they
There's
were
actually
cheap.
some right in that hill that's left there.
Yeah, well, that's fine, yeah. But if we get it inspected, then they're gonna say that you can't have it open like
Yeah,
You just say the word, Dave, you can take every one of them.
that.
Got plenty.
That's all.
Where are we at with MoDOC and scheduling that?
The pipes are here. I don't know if you guys saw those, we got the pipes here. We met with FEMA last week and, the whole crew, last Tuesday? With the contractor, and I think at this point, we're just waiting on, we had gotten an emergency restoration permit before, and it lapsed. And Michael's in the process of renewing that permit, and once that gets approved, I mean, they're ready to go, put it in.
Anything else, Sloan? Heather?
Summer camp is going. Registration is pretty full. It is full. We're just waiting for people to pay to really hold their spot. We have a waiting list. I have 40 kids signed up every week, and then I have 4 to 6 kids on a waiting list every week. And then we have 4 CITs that are gonna help out the counselors, 1 per counselor. And yeah, so that's great. So anyway, we got the square going. People have been able to pay online. I haven't used the square on my phone yet, but yet it's been awesome. People are paying online for summer camp, which is great. Yeah. And then, so the only thing I've been thinking about is some storage for swimming lessons equipment, and maybe keeping a locked trunk of some sort, tote of some sort at the lake, just so she can keep her swimming lessons equipment there. I was
I
gonna.
don't think there's much room in that shed over there.
It can be outside, I mean, that's fine, as long as it's a waterproof kind of thing.
I mean, I don't have a problem with you putting a tote over there, locking it up.
If you can investigate the shed, it might be better.
Yeah.
People see a box with a lock on it, they're gonna wanna know what's in it,
Right.
just based on my professional experience.
Yes, no, that's why I'm asking, that's
I can
great.
go over there with you at some point, take a look
Okay,
in that
we'll
shed.
check it out.
See if there's any room
Yeah.
to slide something in there.
You know, just, I don't know, stuff that she's gonna use for
There's
swimming
plenty of
lessons.
room in there.
Is there?
Yeah.
I know, wow. The only time I ever go in there is Old Home Week, so
Oh, yeah.
it's usually freighted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It's full, it's brilliant.
We
Yeah,
store
so-
reels for the swim lines in there through winter, but they're
Yeah.
out now, so there's,
Yep.
should be plenty of room in there.
So you would just get a tote and throw it in that shed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so swimming lessons, the instructor's ready, she's getting it all planned out. We're gonna put our sign-up sheets for non-campers, just Madison resident kids that want to sign up for swimming lessons. Still negotiating a price, I wanna talk to the committee about it too, before we really get it out there, but,
We'll have to have a public hearing, cause it's a new fee too.
okay, yep, so we'd like to schedule that as well.
When you know, cause I can't post it
Yep.
until you have a number
Okay.
for me to post, so.
Okay. I have a number I can give you,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And
Are
then
they paying us or are they paying the instructor directly and we're just
paying
facilitating?
us,
Okay,
we are just facilitating,
okay,
yes, paying
Okay.
us, paying the town of Madison, and then we are paying the instructor separately,
yeah,
out of our account budget.
yep. And is that taking place during summer camp or after summer camp hours?
It's during summer camp, but she's not considered a counselor. So I still have my 4 counselors on, they'll be on Tuesdays for, again, non-summer camp kids. She's gonna do strictly just kids that live in Madison that wanna do summer, swimming lessons. And then the summer camp kids will be on Wednesdays.
Do you know the
And that will be
times?
separate. Not 100%, but morning, I mean, she's willing to do all day on Tuesday just to get all the kids in, and overflow maybe Thursday. So we'll see how many we get with that, but yeah.
There'd have to be some paperwork, especially for the non-camper kids. Like the liability
Liability
stuff and
release,
all that
yeah.
stuff.
Yep,
Would there have to be something different for liability for the regular campers, or is that included in the, you know what I mean?
I think our general liability waiver for the summer camp should be fine, but you definitely need a liability waiver from
Yeah.
all of the kids
Yeah.
participating outside of camp.
yep. I mean, we have one for, we use the same liability waiver for everything.
Just make sure you get those with the
The
sign up or
swim,
something.
yeah, yep.
You may wanna just add some verbiage that there's no lifeguard on duty, it's just the swim
Right.
instructor, I don't know how much
Yep.
that matters, but
Yeah, and she could probably help me with that, cause she
Yeah.
knows all that too.
Are you gonna like require the parents to stay while the kids are in swim lessons or anything? I don't know if you thought
Probably.
that
Yeah,
through,
I
you know?
plan on being there with her, because otherwise she would be by herself technically, cause the campers, the summer camp kids will not be there at all, so all my counselors will be not there.
Mhm.
So I told her I would be there on Tuesdays with her to make sure everything goes okay. But yes,
It's just a thought,
Required.
you know, yeah, I don't
that's
know.
a great thought, yes,
anything else?
that's what I'm thinking. Nope. I don't believe so.
Chief?
We have what is the remainder of the K-9 bank account that is, the bank would like us to close because it's obviously been dormant. We run two bank accounts, I knew that was one of them. The other one we run is a special equipment account, which is funded by parking tickets, accident reports, stuff like that. With your permission, I'd like to close out that account and just combine it with this one,
How much money are we talking?
4,000, just under 4,000.
Where was the K-9 money
In the
coming
K-9.
from?
Mostly from the raffles that we did. We purchased like the vest and some equipment for the K-9 out of it, the cage for the K-9. This is just the stuff that's left over from that, so. It was being used, you know, for vet bills, food, training equipment, stuff like that, so.
I don't have a problem with it.
Gotta do something with it, just can't sit there.
Yeah, and like I said, the bank has sent me an email, they'd like it, something to be done with it, so. Probably it's costing them 3 cents in interest every month, so. I guess that free ride's over. Other than that, the charger is down, which apparently, according to the mechanic, has been a symptomatic thing of Dodge Charger cruisers. It's what they think is the drive shaft for the all-wheel drive system. So it goes in tomorrow morning to get a fuller eval on it. We'll find out more after that, but it's not too old, but it's apparently something that happens with Chargers. I knew it happened when the Chargers, when they first came out, they were spinning the drive shafts out of them. They were just rear-wheel drive, so the U-joints couldn't stand up to the engine, so. This one, I have no idea. They said it's hard to get to because you have to drop a lot of the suspension to get to it, so it'll be expensive before we even figure out what it is. So,
Awesome.
yeah. That's all I got for good news this week.
Mr. Boyd?
Permits issued, so 151 permits so far this year. Of that, building permits are 63. The fees collected for the building permits so far is $9,071. Estimated value of all the projects so far is $4.1 million. Electrical permits, 40, fees collected, $1,480. Plumbing permits, 18, fees collected, $680. Gas permits, 27, fees collected, $1,070. And 2 new driveway permits for $80. So that's the permit world so far, and I've got probably 20 applications pending on my desk right now. And I'm also working on several zoning complaints, which at least one may turn into a court case, not including short-term rental issues. So it's been busy.
Sounds like it. I hope you're having all kinds of fun, Bob.
Oh, yes. Come share.
Anything else?
No, that's it for now. Well, I think the code car is gonna be serviced, and we just discovered the air conditioning's not working, so that's been enjoyable the last few days.
It's going swimmingly. This is going swimmingly. I'm gonna walk outside, my truck's not gonna start now. Signature items.
Yes, we got a boatload.
Cool, you got any room for oil down here? Used oil?
Yes.
We got plenty.
We also have the new tank that needs to get put in up there.
We got the tank ready? Well, this one needs to be emptied out in either case.
2 on that one, Joe. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, that got paid off, so we'll leave that.
He used to work for him.
Oh, yeah?
We're gonna have to use it for backup.
Oh, that was just the, yeah, contact.
Just one signature on it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you should, sorry. You're good.
Bad idea to set that other tank up.
So, they appoint him, but we sign him?
Well, on.
These were,
Right, well, yes, they do the.
that's
for-
conservation, that was not.
Yeah. So, you're appointing the conservation with their recommendation, but the
This one's
advisory
budget.
budget one, they appoint, but we still need a,
And
an
all
oath.
signed by,
Yeah,
this is,
those are, yeah, veterans credits. Chad was in on Thursday, so
yep,
got a bunch of assessing stuff.
I didn't see any denials, I don't believe, when I looked through.
No, they're all paid. Yeah, there was 3 veterans and 1 solar.
I'll
Yep.
contact Chris and Paul, and I'll just keep you in the loop of what's.
Thanks, guys.
Those next 3 applications are that 79F that got approved at town meeting for the discount for farm structures and things.
these were looked over to make sure they got,
Yep, Chad reviewed those two and approved them.
Thank you, guys.
Hold on.
excellent.
Yes.
Oh, it says in black ink too, like you have a black pen today.
Oh, I don't have one.
Is your pen black, John? Looks like it.
It's either black or dark brown. That's all right.
Well, I don't know how much it matters, you wrote our names in blue.
Oh, did I?
I don't know
No,
why.
I didn't read, oh, yeah, I did,
I don't know why it says black, I don't know why it matters.
they rejected.
Do we hear? That was a thick one.
They just gave a lot of information to support their request. That one's got two, because one's a warrant for Michael to collect the land use change tax.
This one has two, huh?
And the purchase requisition is for putting lines, redoing the lines at the library and putting lines down here and up at that one there. We don't have any lines right now.
Yep.
And Sloan had asked me about it and she said she was looking into it and I said, well, while you're looking, can you see how much it would cost for us to do it? And it's really, I
It's
mean,
not that
it's
bad.
not, yeah, 650 was it?
Who's doing it?
Wolf,
Oh, it's
We didn't call-
white wolf striping?
We didn't call Chip?
well, she did call around to 3 places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This was supposed to be in the back, isn't it?
Oh, yes, thank you.
And this is just me?
That was, yes, that's to get the money from the trustees. And then I'll put the minutes with it that support it. And that's the only thing for that one.
This one's all set.
And that one was the Milton Cat agreement to hold it.
Just wanna make sure. Yeah.
I think there might be more than one signature required too.
So I don't see anything on here about this being okay.
This is something first, there was another spot, I'm not sure if that's.
That one's all set.
It's all set.
Yep.
That one. I think I marked them all.
I'm gonna run out of ink. So this one's me, and then Joy needs to sign. Oh,
I think I put a sticker on it that said Joy.
Joy, yeah, Joy there and me here. Yep. That's it. One's all set too.
This is all set?
Yep.
All right.
All right, with that, we will go into non-public session per RSA 91-A3, Roman numeral 2, little b, the hiring of any person as a public employee, roll call vote.
John, aye.
Adam, aye.